Hey, good morning, everybody. So you're seeing me go through my layers of healing. You're going to be going back in time in your body, mind, and spirit. Okay. So when you go back in time in your body, mind, and spirit, you're going to be first dealing with your body and all of the issues that are in your body. It's going to affect your mind. It's also going to affect your spirit. Okay. And the body and the mind and the spirit are going to then focus on the most aggressive issues first. And usually, actually, yeah, if you have major imbalances and weaknesses in your vital organs, as well as any other part of your body, the body is going to fix that first before it then starts changing your minds and then balance out your spirit, which is your hormones. Okay, so the whole Jilly Juice does a balance of the body, mind, and spirit, and you're going to go through layers and layers of healing and peeling back layers and layers of programming, and then everything that you thought you knew, that you thought you knew, that you thought you knew, that you thought you woke up to is going to be then revisited, and then you're going to wake up even yet again, because let me tell you, there's layers and layers of programming out there. Remember, the internet is so full of programming, and what you focus on becomes who you are until you start aligning your body, mind, and spirit. And then you realize what you've been focusing on may not be true. Okay. And so that's why you have to get everything balanced out at the biological cellular level, not at the mind level and the spirit level, but it has to be body, mind, and spirit in that order for you to really see the truth, to align yourself correctly. And so I've been in that process as far as what I experienced when I was in California, to just all the conspiracy world, to then my focus on the holistic world for a minute, and then doing the Jilly Juice, and then peeling back the layers and layers and layers of programming, which is insane. It's freaking insane when you think about it. So I'm going to read this to you, okay? This is what I wrote. It's called The Art of War. Freemasons, okay? Because I learned that in the conspiracy world that Freemasons are the horrible, they're the scourge, they're the satanic people. And that was kind of put in my head by the Alex Jones crowd, the conspiracy crowd. Okay. So Freemasons have been mischaracterized or have been characterized as satanic. But you have to wonder who created that perception and why. And maybe the Freemasons are truly the patriots ferreting out communism. Okay, so here's the thing. So I'm going to put an example. Remember back in the 1960s, around all the different assassinations and McCarthyism and the hippie movement and the communes, hence communism. And then you hear about MLK being taken out and JFK. And then you hear about George Bush Sr. and the people in the Freemasons took out JFK and MLK and all this stuff. Well, you're hearing from Alex Jones that it was the horrible Freemasons, the bad people that took out our president, and there's somebody in the government trying to hurt you, and all of this other stuff, trying to instill like distrust in your government. When actuality, there's a bigger war going on that most people don't even realize, and that is the war against communism, and communism is trying to infiltrate, which it already has in America, as well as in the UK and Australia and all these different countries. Communism is ever pervasive, and it's something that you don't even recognize as something bad until you start seeing then it becoming extreme. Okay. And so luckily we have balancing forces out there, that those that live in relatively communist countries, but North Korea is a communist country, so we haven't really balanced that one out. China is a communist country, Russia, communist country, but there are shades of socialism like New Zealand and Australia. So there's more socialism out there in the West than there really is communism. But hey, you can go either way relative to the population and relative who gets into the government and decides to go a different way. So that's why we have a world court, because a world court will tell you, okay, this is too extreme, West, whoever it is that's in the West, you need to chill it out or calm down. Or then there's like coups and all that stuff, right? Okay, so maybe the Freemasons, who were the ones that started America. George Washington's a Freemason. The secret societies are the people that trust each other to make sure that the American way is upheld. And then here's the art of war. Julie Juice will have you question everything you've been told. But you also have to know your history. And history is written by the winners. Because look at the national holidays and then look at the fight between Democrats and Republicans. And then you'll put everything together and then you'll realize that not all the conspiracy theories that are out there are characterizing the players correctly. So Alex Jones made JFK seem like the freaking hero when he actually could have been the freaking enemy. You know, the whole civil rights movement and all that stuff, and then the whole, you know, the hippie movement and the anti-war and the drugs and all of that stuff and were so prevalent back then. And then MLK came out and then he started and then people say, oh yeah, he's part of the Freemasons. So he's being inducted to the Freemasons. And so then the communist movement have taken the Freemason symbolatry and adopted it as their own. So now you have no idea who it is to trust. Oh, well, I mean, if he's wearing the Freemason outfit, just like George Washington, okay, then he must be good. But then hold on a second, he's like communism. So what the hell? So people get confused because symbols have been stolen and adopted to then like misguide you into thinking that this is a friendly face when actuality it's a way to infiltrate. It's freaking insidious. It's insane. So scapegoating and projection is the arsenal in psychological warfare, coupled with biological warfare and a drug-induced society such as cannabis and other types of illicit drugs and other short-term remedies from biotech. And the holistic industry and the therapy has beaten down the human spirit. Also remember, just because somebody wears an American flag with a Freemason symbol doesn't mean they uphold those tenets. Camouflaging in plain sight, pretend to be something that you're not, is how the enemy or the art of war finds ways to infiltrate and then undermine from within. Even though George Bush wore a Freemason outfit, anyone else wearing a Freemason outfit could pretend to be something they're not. And now you have to look at the outcome and the national holidays and who they focus on, and then the left-leaning mainstream media, and then all of the major turning points in history, especially around McCarthyism, and then the rebranding of communism. Communism is like a virus on a weak body. Sometimes it gets exposed, and then you have McCarthyism, which is America's way of trying to heal from the trauma of communism. And then communism shapeshifts and looks for more weaknesses in the system, and then finally settles on another part of the American system, starting another infection, and that infection is called the conspiracy community. And then extremism is born to where you don't know the difference between extreme left and extreme right, because both have been now mobilized with very violent coercive tactics to jam ideologies down population's throat, and then relative to your belief system will blame each other's side for causing chaos in the community. Okay, and so, and then I wrote, you know, the war against communism and how it gets rebranded today under the independent movement and the Democrats. Okay, so all warfare is based on deception. Hence, when we're able to attack, we must seem unable. When using our forces, we must appear inactive. When we are near, we must make the enemy believe we are far away. When far away, we must make him believe that we are near. And this is from Sun Tzu. All warfare is based upon deception. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles. If you know yourself but not the enemy, for every victory gained, you will suffer a defeat. If you know neither the enemy nor yourself, you will succumb in every battle. So you have to know yourself and you have to know the enemy, which means that it's like you cannot believe everything for face value. That's why we have a doctrine. That's right, Graham. Order out of chaos. That's why we have a doctrine called the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Because no matter what people say and what face they put out there and what great words they say, like Bloomberg, okay, you have to know that they are upholding the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And some will even accuse someone of violating when they're not. And that's what you're seeing in the impeachment trials with Pelosi accusing Trump of violating the Constitution, when in fact, most likely, if not probably, the Democrats are violating the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. by even pushing through impeachment because they know they're not going to win this next election. Okay, and so this is the actual. You think that there's no wars going on? There is war right on your soil that you don't even know. And just like Alex Jones was saying, in plain sight, he was right there in your face, actually promoting the left-wing McCarthyism agenda under the guise of being a patriot. And that is what pissed me off now that I finally looked at it, because of then him promoting the holistic industry and then making you think that JFK was this hero. And then ending the Fed and the Federal Reserve and then the chemtrails and then all of this destabilization, buying into the anti-vax. Okay, I mean, I'm not saying that biotech is 100% perfect, but it's all about balance. You know, we have a lower, we have a decline in the infant mortality rate because of modern medicine, but too much modern medicine is going to cause more imbalances, yes. But he is like going to the extreme. He is the epitome of extremism on both ends. He's capitalizing on both ends. Right-wing extremism and left-wing extremism. And so then you don't know the difference between the two. And then relative to your belief system, you will buy what he's selling and then inject your own perspective. And then you start hating whoever it is. But you'll realize that, oh yeah, you know, well, not even, oh yeah, you'll think that JFK is like this patriot when really JFK wasn't. When you think that MLK was this patriot, maybe MLK wasn't. And so, so I also wrote here, the extreme left-wing conspiracy world negatively spins who the Masons are. And then I posted an article about the strange history of Masons in America. Because yeah, there is traditions, there is all that stuff. It happens, whatever. Okay. And so then I also, the thing with the mafia, examples of capitalism, pure Darwinism, which was triggered by the Kennedys. The Kennedys were the major socialists in America. Everyone loved them because they talked a great game of like everyone equal and having this, which, okay, but you realize that there are so many different, you know, capabilities in America that we can't possibly play the whole equal game. It's about your ability, but we have to have some socialism, but capitalism definitely needs to be, you know, to be the main thing. But we don't need to have like destruction with capitalism. And that's what the mafia stood for, was that they were all about capitalism, but it was about taking from people and selling and cornering the market because they stole from or strong arming. And so I'm not saying that the mafia was correct, but that you can have a mafia or a pure capitalist society without the destruction. Okay. And so, so anyways, and then here's the thing, the all-seeing eye and the Freemasonry imagery has been rebranded. And this is what I did 48 minutes ago. And used as a weapon against the patriots of America. Remember, the Nazis took the swastika symbol from another spiritual religion called Jainism. And the all-seeing eye Freemason symbol was stolen to create the left-wing communists. And now you don't know who the enemy is because they're hiding in plain sight. You have no idea. But when you see where it comes out of Hollywood, okay, and of fashion industry, now you have an idea who is really adopting and why. So symbols are used to make you think that you are finding like-minded people, but you have no idea their intentions or who they work for if you're only looking at the symbol. So now you have to look at the symbol ideology and the person and what is their voting record and what they support. And so here's, okay, so the all-seeing eye is a left-wing communist logo that lets you know they have infiltrated every aspect of your life. And it is especially prevalent in Hollywood and in the fashion industry, as well as pointed out in the conspiracy community, that you think it's your government and the global elite, but it's truly communism, and the patriots of America are trying to say to Republic, hence Republican. Okay? Left-wing communism, corporal punishment, and breaking down the spirit, also known as MK Ultra with shades of tolerance, when it comes to spanking, is a very intense way to break your child's spirit, to control them, has created a lot of violence in the world because it is a way to control populations through coercive tactics. You're going to see people running for office and candidates that will show you the face of what you want to see with legislation you don't want to have. You better look at who is supporting the candidate, what party and why, because that will tell you what legislation they are putting into place. And when you have the extreme left propping up a certain candidate, whoever they are, you have to be very concerned. Okay, so the all-seeing eye. See, I was going to say something, but this is pretty insidious. I mean, this is so, it's very convoluted, very complicated. But look at, when you look at political ideologies and who is propping up who, like right now in my city, there is a specific candidate that some people in my community that I know is major left-wing communist are propping up. And there is a fear when you think about the melting pot of America. So a melting pot of America, you have so many different cultures, whether it's Muslim, Islam, Christianity, Catholic, all of that, right? And so some of these people are able to get into office. They talk a great game of, oh, how wonderful and how this and how that. But look who they're propping up. Look who's propping them up. Look who's propping them up. You will see who's, and then you will know who they're actually backing or being backed by and what their intention is in that community. And that is where it gets scary. And so you really have to look at the whole left-wing agenda and who they're creating as a candidate. Ernie Keebler, bye troll. But here's the thing, here's what I want to say. America is a melting pot. Okay, Trump and the whole diplomacy. So here's where I'm going, what's my point in this? So Trump went over to the MLK monument and everything and made it like a national monument or historical thing. And the reason why is because we have half America that's basically communist. He has to acknowledge that that exactly is what's going on. And so instead of him pissing off the black population, who happens to probably cater to more the left wing because they have been infiltrated by the communists, he has to acknowledge them. I mean, that's straight up diplomacy. When you know you have certain segments of our society that cater to specific ideologies, but you still have one doctrine that everybody has to go to, and that is the Bill of Rights and the Constitution. Without that, then you have chaos. And that's where Graham's talking about, order out of chaos. The Constitution and the Bill of Rights is the order out of chaos. It is what has given people that platform to, no matter how much somebody is pretending to be something, no matter how much crap that's put out there, like the 1960s and drugs and sex and rock and roll and alcohol, you still have to abide by the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. Without that, you have absolutely chaos. And so Trump is diplomatic. Just because he went to MLK doesn't mean that he's adopting these communist tendencies. No, it means that he's diplomatic in his relations. He wants to make sure that Russia is okay, that he is not creating some kind of, bullshit with them. It's not like he's trying to be Russian and be communist. No, he's trying to create diplomacy. You have to understand what the intention behind what Trump is doing. But do I actually know the intention? No, but I'm seeing him clean and drain the swamp. I'm seeing him, we're going to see. What does it look like to be truly an America that's upholding the Constitution? Well, we still have our Bill of Rights. We still have the Second Amendment. We still have the right to assemble, the right of free press, whatever. All of these rights, as long as all your rights are being upheld, though we have to watch out for imbalances. And so some things get modified because of a society that's changing, but you cannot amend or modify the Constitution and the Bill of Rights out of existence. Okay, so that's why there's always this struggle between Republican and Democrat, because Republicans are straight up for the Republic and Democrats want to slip in the communism. And then they teeter on to extremism. Okay, so you're watching Trump be very diplomatic in his relations with even the people here on this soil. Okay, and so it's very hard because people will insert their perceived intention of what Trump is doing and then the right wing and left wing extremism. And so now you just have to trust in the process, in the laws, trust in the voting, because I'll tell you what, when when you have to be diplomatic with the people that are on your soil, that we have taken in so many different people from, you know, refugees from different political ideologies, and then they start getting into your government because people don't know who to vote for. Okay, so this is my clue to you on how do you vote. First of all, left wing, you better be very careful. If you're a Democrat, okay, fine, whatever. But if you're a Republican voting Democrat, be very, very careful, because the left wing ideology is allowing other ideologies and other thought processes that are not American to slip in. And then rules change, legislation changes, even the judges start allowing certain things to slide. And so you're seeing that, and even in certain cities where the rulings are way more lenient on something that's so egregious like murder. Okay, and so this is why you have to be very, 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 very careful on when you vote for somebody. And that's one of the things that I didn't realize, because I'm watching right now somebody in my community backing somebody. He's left wing, he's backing someone that could potentially bring in a certain kind of ideology. I'm not going to say it because I didn't want to be deemed as racist, but they're bringing an ideology that may be anti-American and anti-patriot, and that is scary. There's communism right here in Ohio, okay, right in my district, in my city, but I'm in an economically depressed area, and you can see the breakdown of, like, you know, of Canton and Akron, okay, and you can tell who is ruling what and why. So so if somebody's being backed by Bloomberg, by a very left wing, they have Marxist Leninist tendencies, be very careful. Okay, and so that is why you're seeing now everything come to head, because now we're seeing people who are hormonally imbalanced, major hormonally imbalanced, taking on the extremes and being fed the propaganda in their ear. And then it translates into activism. And then you have this tussle back and forth, but it's like, I'm peeling back all the layers of the brainwashing of the conspiracy community, peel back the layers of the brainwashing of what I was raised with, and now I see things for what they really are. And no matter what happens, because you really can't control really what happens out there. You can only control yourself. There's going to be changes in the environment, changes in the political climate, changes in everything, and you just keep, you know, upholding what you believe in, whatever it is. You will survive all of these changes. You will survive. But you are watching. Viruses coming out there. You're seeing stuff come out of China. China is a huge communist country, and they have the capability to release viruses out there in the world. And if your body, mind, and spirit is not so strong with the jelly juice, you will succumb to either the coronavirus, the Ebola virus, whatever virus is out there. Okay? And then there's vaccines being put out there. It could be mandatory vax at some point. You never know. And you're going to have to do it, but is your body strong enough? Because it's coming down to that point. No, they're not going to take away the salt. They're not going to take away the cabbage or the water. But you got to get your hormones well balanced, because you cannot hide from all of these viruses. You can't even hide from all of these ideologies that are being thrown around all over mainstream media and alternative mainstream media and everything. And so America, you know, if you're an American, the Bill of Rights and the Constitution is what keeps order, so you don't get distracted by all the crap. Okay? And, you know, I mean, when you're so well and you're so healthy and everyone's like sick around you, it's going to be very difficult to deal with that. Very difficult to deal with that. And you may not even want to, but you know you're going to have to. But that's where you're going to become stronger. And that's why JJ's is so important. And that's why, you know, you want to get as many people around you doing it, because you have some kind of people around you. Because I'm telling you what, how many of you that are not doing JJ's or sort of doing it, how many of you seen your shit just go down the tubes? You know, literally, you're seeing yourself degrade. So, I don't know. it's really quite interesting, everything that I have been uncovering under the J Juice. Very interesting. I mean, what else? Let me look at my business page. But I mean, when you learn about what people die from is antibody acquisition, you know, everyone's so about politics too, but you know, when you get succumb to all these politics and political ideologies and conspiracies, and you're aggressively dying from too many antibodies, sepsis, blood infections, all of that. I mean, you really, you know, the whole American whatever is going to be thrown away because you're dying, you're dead. And so, so it's very important to understand Jilly Juice and how it impacts your politics. And how it impacts your politics. Because when you have major imbalances, you're going to be extreme. And we have kids that are very, they have a lot of predispositions. And so you're seeing the anti-vax community just say no vaccines, no this, no that. And then you're going to see the depopulation agenda come to fruition. Because there is a depopulation agenda, yes. They know that there's a lot of people, 7 billion people is a lot of people. Now, is it overpopulated? I don't think it's overpopulated. I think that we're not managing our resources correctly. But all of these depopulation agendas is self-induced. Because look at the anti-vaxxers, look at those that practice the holistic world, look at the acceptance of aging and degrading, look at the acceptance of having, you know, autoimmune disorders and all these issues, and then being totally drugged out and being okay with having, you know, fatty acid imbalances, amino acid imbalances, hormonal imbalances, and mineral imbalances. And so the depopulation agenda is self-induced. And then it's being propped up by the Alex Jones crowd and the communists. Is Bill Gates trying to depopulate the world? You know, no, I think he's trying to help, but I think the unintended consequences is that people are going to succumb no matter what to all of the viruses and the aggressive environment. So, you know, you guys, you don't know what the truth is, except that you need to stay alive. If you are obese or too skinny and you're aging and degrading, you are participating in the depopulation agenda. You have got to get everything well balanced. You really do. You have got to get everything well balanced, so that way, if they do make it mandatory you get vaccines, you can get it without any major adverse reactions. And then you can dilute that virus. And if you happen to still be communicable, it'll actually be less aggressive. And that's the whole thing with herd immunity. You know, people say, well, there's no such thing as herd immunity, because you have all these people that are anti-vax and they go, oh, yeah, there's no such thing as herd immunity. But I'm sorry, but when you get exposed to an aggressive environment, the virus, and a person that doesn't have any protection completely dies, and then you get an actual attenuated version of it, like a lesser version, and then you put that in the population versus the aggressive one, that is the herd immunity, because you've now become, you're the one that took the bullet. Okay? People who are vaccinated actually take the bullet for those that are not, because then the virus comes in and hits the ones that are vaccinated, and it still goes through, but it's not as bad. And then, you know, then you're filtering that virus through a body that has antibodies, and so when they're communicable, it's not going to be as aggressive. Now I understand what herd immunity is. That's why, you know, they have to have a certain amount of population to be vaccinated, and the other half, well, they'll figure it out. So the strong are being vaccinated, the non-strong are going to be saved by the vaccinated, when you think about it, because they're not going to get the full-blown actual aggressive. But you can't explain that to an anti-vaxxer, okay? But this is the Jilly Juice. It understands how biology works, how politics works. It understands how, how politics, religion, and health all work together, okay? So, I don't know. I'm just like, wow. It's been a real major interesting discovery of a lot of stuff, because once you conquer the biological portion of the body and J juice, then you start seeing how it manifests in religion and politics, and then in your society. And then you know how to make changes and stay, I don't know, stay true to your belief system, whatever that is. So keep staying on the J juice, keep doing it. I'm kind of scattered this morning because I'm just like trying to figure all this out, because now I'm unwinding all of the conspiracy community, and that's difficult. All right, so do the J juice. Your politics are going to change. They are. And you guys have an amazing day. Oh my God, my hair. I'm trying to figure out my hair. Okay, you guys have an amazing day, and do the J juice, okay? And I look really great, just so you guys know. My hair, my skin, my nails, my face. This is where you want to end up. You want to look, I'm be 46 February 5th. 46 years old, February 5th. 46. I hope I look like this forever. All right. Bye.